Hello, everybody. Hi. Good evening from Germany. I don't know what time it is where you are all, but maybe you can just type into the chat if you can all hear me all right, if everything's working fine with the technical stuff that I'm always so afraid of. Okay, so as people are coming in, I would like to say welcome already. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very, very much for being here. And for most of all, thank you very much for making room for in your busy schedules on a Saturday. So many people have signed up for this webinar. It was really amazing. I was completely blown away by the amount of people. And this shows me that there are still so many myths out there about predatory behavior in dogs that it is really useful to talk about this and about what helps and what doesn't help with predation. So I see a lot of people typing in the chat already where you are coming from. And so please let me know where you all from. I see Chicago, Bristol in the UK, the USA, in Indiana, Vermont, France, Leipzig, Germany, yeah, Taiwan. Oh, hi, welcome from Los Angeles, Wales, the Netherlands, Poland. Wow, this is really amazing. Zagreb, Croatia, Canada, my home office. That's a good point. That's a good place. Denmark, from Scotland, hi, from Belgium, Argentina. This is really amazing. London. Cool. Okay. So I think it's 5 minutes past 8 o'clock and I would like to start. So for housekeeping, just to let you know what you can expect. So we will be here for about 90 minutes. I hope that we will be through in 90 minutes. I will talk quickly, including a Q&A in the end where you can ask your questions, and I will try to squeeze in as many as I can in this 90 minutes or a little bit over. Faye from my team is attending the chat today. So if you have any problems, please write it into the chat and she will be able to help you. You are very, very welcome to take screenshots and post them on social media or tag me in your screenshots, or you can take the screenshots just for yourself if you want to keep something in mind. I hope you all have your worksheets for today printed out and the pen ready, because there will be a lot of notes to take. I will give you a lot of input today. So let's start. My name is Simone. I'm a certified dog trainer and dog behavior consultant from Germany, and I specialize in force-free anti-predation training. I'm the author of the Predation Substitute Training book series. And before I took a career in dog training, I studied to be a teacher, and I worked at a high school for about 10 years. Currently, I have 2 Australian Shepherds. Nanook is the red merle one on the left. He is now 13 years old. Isla is on the right, and she's 4 years old. And these two have helped me to put my training to the test a lot. So today I would like to celebrate with you the launch of a very comprehensive predation substitute training self-learning course. It will be called Call of the Chase. And this webinar is the start of this course. It will give you an insight into this much larger topic and much more comprehensive course. The course was especially designed for high drive dogs with a strong prey drive. And if you have days with your dog that you think, well, this is not exactly what I have signed up for, you are in good company, because I have always dreamed of having a dog, and I have pictured myself walking through forests, enjoying nature and peace and quiet with my doggy by my side. And I have pictured my dog to be relaxed and eager to play and interact with me, and of course coming back when I call her. And of course this dream has come true, but not always. There are also the not so dreamy parts, the chasing, the barking, the lunging, and all the parts that leave us guardians drained and confused and sometimes desperate for help. So I have seen the whole stuff that comes with dogs with predatory motivation. It can be so hard. So even though this is a free webinar, I will give you a lot of value here if you struggle with your dog's prey drive. There are so many misconceptions about prey drive out there. Some just cost you time and energy, and some are counterproductive, and some are outright dangerous. Predation is definitely the one biggest challenge that comes with dog ownership. It can be super overwhelming. And the problem is that everybody in your life seems to have an opinion, and these people are not keeping their opinion to themselves. And the internet is full of answers, but you don't have the time to figure them out, and you don't have maybe the skills to figure out, is it right or is it wrong? And also there is pressure from society to stop your dog from being a threat to other animals. I have made so many mistakes until I finally found a method that really works for my dogs and also for my client dogs. And I would like to spare you those mistakes. So we are going to debunk those myths here in my webinar. And if you want to delve deeper into that topic after the free webinar, I have a special webinar deal for you at the end. The webinar deal will be a reduction for the price of the comprehensive PST self-learning course, Call of the Chase. But even if you're not interested in that deal, the webinar is going to give you a ton of valuable information now. So stay tuned. First of all, if you want to work on your dog's uncontrolled predatory chasing and restore your relaxation on walks, you have come to the right place if you want to understand why your dog loves to chase and hunt so much. If you want to learn how to control your dog's predatory behavior by positive training methods, using positive training methods. If you are prepared to commit to training your dog consistently, and if you want to integrate this training into your walks. If you want to achieve long-lasting result and find a long-term solution for this behavior. You have come to the right place if you want to improve the relationship that you share with your dog. If you want to learn ways to provide your dog with safe outlets for their predatory behavior. And even if you are already experienced and proficient in force-free anti-predation training, this webinar might be the perfect opportunity to refresh your knowledge and to consolidate your knowledge. But although it might sound strange, but there are some people who this webinar will not be suitable for. So this webinar will not be the best fit for you if you're just looking for a quick fix for your dog's predatory behavior. If you want to use aversive methods, equipment, techniques, because you will not find any guideline on this here. If you're not concerned about your dog's needs and well-being. And this webinar is also not for you if you are not committed to training consistently. Or if you want to eliminate your dog's hunting behavior completely, because this is also not what you will find here. You are not right here if you do not see the importance of building a strong bond and relationship with your dog, or if you are not interested in learning why your dog is showing predatory behavior in the first place. So, but as far as I can see, there are still a lot of people here. So I guess we're all on the same page. And I would like to start with telling you a little bit about my own predation substitute training stories, because it all started with her. This is Malinka, and Malinka was my first dog back in 2002. I had her when I was in my early 20s, quite a while ago. And I was a new dog owner, and for the very first time, I was responsible for training a dog. And even if it doesn't show on this photo, Malinka was an Australian Shepherd mix. Her mom was a red merle Australian Shepherd. This is where my passion for Australian Shepherds comes from. And her dad was some obscure mix of Rottweiler, Labrador, whatever. When Malinka was around 18 months old, she developed a super strong prey drive. When she saw something running, she immediately started to chase, and she was gone from several minutes to up to 1 hour. And she also actively searched for something to hunt in the forest. This was the most challenging part. And as you can see her in the picture, she was very strong, very fast, and very determined. So she had the impulsivity of the herding breed of the Australian Shepherd, combined with the stamina of the Molosser breed. And even though she only had about 25, 26 kilos, she knocked me over once because I stood in her way trying to make a body block to keep her from chasing a cat. One time she dragged me off my feet with a long line in the field when she was chasing a rabbit. She ran into this long line, this 20-meter long line, I think it was, and the impact really literally blew me off my feet. I still have a burn mark around my ankle, little memory from Malinka, I always see it, because the long line was wrapped around my ankle and she took off after the deer. It was so hurtful. By this time, e-collars have already been banned in Germany, but I worked with a trainer and he advised me to use a spray collar on her. And he was an experienced trainer, so I think he knew all the tricks, and he worked with e-collars previously before the ban. And when we used it on her, she simply twitched, and then she hesitated for a second, and she moved on, and she just chased on. So it worked to some degree, but yeah, not really. So I remember this particular day that I cried in the shower because I was so frustrated. I tried so hard. I tried to make everything right with her, and it simply didn't work. I once heard that when you have a dog with a severe problem, a severe behavior problem, that you go through all the stages of grief. Maybe you're familiar with this concept that the stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, or here a better word would be resignation. And this is because you really grieve inside, because the dog that you love so much, that is so cuddly and cute and lovely at home, can just turn into a berserk outside and leave you embarrassed and frustrated in total despair. This behavior problem can impact your whole life, the daily choices that you make, or even your health. And I knew that I had to work on this problem. We have a strong hunting lobby in Germany, and worrying wildlife is an offense. Your dog can even be shot when they are caught in the middle of the chase. And even though Malinka never caught an animal, I was always worried that she might get shot, or that she might cross the street or get hit by a car, or that she might fall off a cliff, or that she might stab herself on a branch, or that I would simply lose her because she gets tangled somewhere and I will never find her again. So what I did is I sought advice from a local dog club, from several local trainers, and of course I searched the internet for advice, and yeah, I got a lot of advice. You might know from yourself that if you ask 5 different people about dog training advice, you will get 10 different answers and solutions. I have to say that not all advice was completely bad or wrong from what I know today, but there was not this particular method that brought a breakthrough, because I always felt that the training that I did had no structure, that I was holding a lot of loose ends that did not really fit together. But I also heard a lot of what I know now was useless or counterproductive or even dangerous. And this is why today I want to share with you 10 of the myths that I was given on how to stop my dog from chasing wildlife, or that I heard from my clients, or that I heard from you when I asked you on social media the other day. So the aim is to spare you the detour and the frustration. I want you to be enabled to cut through all this bullshit that is around and that you hear everywhere, so that you can evaluate for yourself what really makes sense when working on your dog's prey drive and when you are given advice in the future. Before we start to debunk the myth, let's quickly talk about the predatory behavior chain in dogs and what predation actually is and what it looks like, because I think we have a lot of people here already that do not know about this yet. This is important so that we are all on the same page and know what we're talking about later. And also to understand the full extent of predatory behavior. It might involve so much more that you might think at first glance. You also have the predatory behavior chain on your worksheets, and I left some space that you can now take notes how these behaviors look in your particular dog, in your dog that you have at home on the couch now, or if you're a dog trainer, a dog that you work with and that you have in mind now. And this will be super helpful for you in the future to identify when your dog is in hunting mode and to identify what they might be up to. When clients come to me and want to work on their predatory behavior, or not on their predatory behavior, on their dog's predatory behavior, what they usually mean is, my dog is chasing. But predation starts long before the chase. It all starts with your dog orienting in the environment. Is there something to hunt? And they do this orienting behavior by either sniffing the ground, scanning the environment with their eyes, or by air scenting with their noses up in the air, or even by listening. Is there something in the bushes in the forest? I'm sure you have all seen that before in your dogs. And if there is really prey around, the dog goes into a stalk. The stalk means that their eyes are glued to the prey animal and the body becomes really tense and arrow-shaped, and then they go into a creep and try to get as close as possible to the prey animal before they start to chase. And this is when we, as the I admit it, I'm also sometimes distracted on my phone. When we owners realize, oh, shoot, now my dog is hunting. But as you can see, there was already happening so much before that. So much was going on before this chase. If the dog is lucky and is able to grab bite and kill bite the prey animal, this is often displayed with violent shakes. Then he possesses the prey animal. You can see this in the picture. The dog is possessing prey, holding it in his mouth, holding on before the dog starts to dissect and eat. And now the predatory motor pattern has come to an end. So now you know about the full extent of predatory behavior and what it looks like. I would like you to do a quick rating on your worksheets. How strong is your dog's prey drive? You have those little rabbits on the worksheet, and I just want to tick you from 1 to 5. 1 is not really bothered, to 5 super strong prey drive, and 2 or 3 in the middle might be, yeah, he has some prey drive, but it's manageable. Okay, tick on your worksheet and then type me in the chat, how big is your dog's prey drive? Four to 5, 5, 5, 3 to 5, oh, 1 to 2, that's nice. Great, you're still here. 4 to 5, 3. Okay, good. So let's talk about 10 common myths about predatory behavior in dogs. And you also have those on your worksheet with where you can fill in the blanks and fill in some notes. Okay, the first myth is your dog will grow out of hunting behavior as they get older. And I will spare you the detour. This is wrong. Your dog will not grow out of it. The reason is that predatory behavior is genetically anchored. So it's impossible for a dog that has a prey drive to grow out of it. Genetically anchored behaviors are the hardest behaviors to get rid of. It's much deeper and ingrained than any learned behavior will ever be. Predatory behavior in most dogs develop around the age of adolescence, as it was in Malinka 2, which is around 18 months. But some already show it from puppyhood, especially if you have a dog that was bred for hunting. They might even display it at 7 or 8 weeks. If you have a dog with a high prey drive, one single occasion around this age might be enough to switch your dog's prey drive on. But if that happened to you, you do not, sometimes people just feel bad because they said, there was this one occasion with the rabbit and now my dog is so on fire every time we go out. And you do not need to feel bad about it, because if this happens, if the prey drive is switched on, it would have been happened anyway. So it would have started around this age. But in some dogs, you can really talk about, or you can really make it, narrow it down to this one occasion when it all started. But it's nothing that you need to worry about in retrospective. You could not have prevented this. If you make it to 3 years with your dogs, 3 years old, and your dog has not shown any predatory behavior or just a little bit, then you're out of the deep end. It will not come. So then the dog is really mature, and yeah, so it will stay like this probably, hopefully. If your dog is already showing predatory behavior and you simply wait for it to stop, this allows your dog to refine their skills, because predation is always a mix of genetically anchored behavior plus learned behavior. So if you allow your dog to practice unwanted parts of predation over and over again, your dog is more likely to grow into a hunter and not out of one. The next myth is, if you ignore predation, it will reduce or go away. And this comes from an advice that, especially in positive dog training, is given a lot, that a behavior that is not reinforced will cease or will not be shown anymore. There is this rule in biology. If you studied biology, for example, or ethology, you will learn the rule, use it or lose it. So if you do not reinforce a behavior, it will not be shown anymore, it will go down and eventually go away. So let's have a quick poll in the chat. What do you think? Is this right or is this wrong? Wrong, false, wrong. Yeah, and some are already given the answer because it's self-reinforcing. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, yeah, the myth is wrong. You are right. Predatory behavior that is not reinforced by you will still remain and not go away, because it is self-reinforcing for the dog, self-rewarding. Predation is what we call intrinsically motivating for the dog. It feels great. And this makes total sense if you think about it, because imagine a young wolf going on the hunt for the very first time in his life, not experienced at all. Of course, he will fail. He will fail a lot of times, but still he will go on. He will do it again. And it's the same with our dogs. They will perform this behavior over and over again, even if they are never successful, simply because it's so much fun. And why is it so much fun? Because they have a super exciting rush of dopamine that is released during predatory behavior. Dopamine is what makes humans become addicted to gambling. It is the anticipation of the win, the craving for new experiences. We call those people adrenaline junkies, but in fact, they are dopamine junkies. And the mix of adrenaline and dopamine feels like doing drugs. So our dogs get literally high when they hunt. And after the hunt, something else happens, which is also really good, because if the dog was successful and they are indulging in dissecting and eating the prey, they have this rush of endorphins and of serotonin into the body. Those are the happy hormones that make you enjoy your achievements after you have fought for something really hard and you finally get it, and now you can enjoy it all. It's comparable to indulging in a 5-course dinner with your favorite people, or a spa with the whole massage and full wellness package. So you can now imagine that if you do not reinforce this behavior with a dry cookie, yeah, it will still stick. And the dog will crave those feelings more and more. So ignoring it will not make the behavior go away, just the opposite. It will increase and not decrease. This one is a hard one. Neutering will reduce predation. And here, I have to say it is not clear. There might be some truth to it. But before you now run off and get your dogs fixed, hoping that they will never hunt again, I might tell you, sorry, it's not that easy. It depends. First of all, we are only talking about male dogs here, not about females. If your dog's predatory behavior is an outlet for general sexual over-arousal. It can be that your dog shows less predatory behavior after being neutered. If a dog is sexually always alert and super excited, and they might show predatory behavior to just blow off some steam, because then it might go away. But this is only my observation, and only for male dogs with a hypersexuality. Neutering might help to achieve some overall calmness, and therefore the dog does not need to blow off steam that much anymore. But if you have a dog that is not hypersexual, just interested in hunting, then the opposite might happen. Anecdotal evidence shows an increase in predatory behavior after neutering in dogs with a true interest in hunting. I am not aware of any scientific studies on that, but for cats, there have been, or there is scientific evidence that they show an increase in hunting behavior after having been spayed or neutered. And potentially this is because the only hobby that they have left when mating, reproduction, caring for offspring is not there anymore, is hunting behavior. So you have to be really, really careful here. And one thing is true, neutering is not a quick fix for unwanted predatory behavior. One thing that I hear a lot and that I'm really worried about is if your dog loves to chase, only ever feed your dog by hand, not from a bowl. And here, I think this is really ethical questionable, because ethically, do you want your dog to be fully dependent on working for you to access food? Food is, just like water and safety, a basic need for every living being, and in my opinion, it's our ethical responsibility to cater those basic needs. If you only feed your dog by hand, this can increase separation anxiety, because when you leave, it means no food and starvation, possibly even. Or it can also mean an increase in resource guarding and aggressive behavior towards other people that approach you, towards other dogs that approach you, because you are such a valuable resource. Your dog simply relies on you with his own life. So there should be at least one unconditional free meal per day. And what totally makes sense, in my opinion, is to take a good part of your day, of your dog's daily food allowance outside with you on your walks, and use it to play predation substitute games or any other games that you prefer with. But one meal should be there from the bowl per day whenever they need it. Okay, squeaky toys and tech toys increase hunting behavior. Quick poll, please. Yes or no? What do you think? Write it into the chat. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, you're so good. Okay. False. Yeah, right. Squeaky toys do not make it worse. Our dogs are so intelligent. They know what the real stuff is and what just the replacement is. So if you derive yourself from using those toys, you derive yourself from such a mighty tool in dog training. And here I mean every and any tool or toy that your dog finds exciting. Can be squeaky toys, can be furry toys, like those I have here, a furry ball that I have here. It might be toys that move. It might be toys that your dog can sink their teeth in, or that they can tug with, or even dissect and eat from those toys. And we can use those toys for a triple win, actually. The first win is for the dog, because they can still chase and hunt, but in a safe way with a toy instead of a boar or a deer or something. And the second win is for the prey animal who gets away and is still living and unharmed. And the third win is for us, because we get cooperation and not frustration from the dog. So instead of hunting solo, our dogs go fun hunting together with us. And I was actually asked a lot about flirt poles, about how to use them and if you can use them or should you use them. And so that I think I can say a few sentences about flirt poles here. First of all, flirt pole movements are not natural movements for dogs, so there is a lot of narrow change of directions, a narrow range of movement. So you have to be really careful with your dog's joints. I would avoid big jumps. I would do it with consideration. But beside from that, flirt poles are a great outlet. Your dog can chase safely, and at the same time, you can sneak in some really useful training. And in the German language, I think it's really interesting because we have two different words for flirt pole. We use the word Reizangel, which means teasing rod, and we use the word Hetzangel, which means chasing rod. And I think I have never heard of an equivalent to those two in English, and it's a pity because they describe perfectly what you can train with a flirt pole, because these are two different things. The first thing that you can train is impulse control, the teasing rod. You ask your dog to sit or to stay, and then you move the flirt pole in front of them. And as a reward for staying put, you release the dog to the flirt pole and the dog can chase. The chase here is the reward for waiting. And the second thing that you can train with the flirt pole is a recall from a moving object, which is something completely different than waiting. The chasing rod. You let your dog chase, and then you recall your dog and practice to interrupt the chase, either by coming back to you or by having your dog sit. And as a reward, you can send them straight into the chase again. So no treats needed here. You let your dog do what they want to do, which is chasing. If you only ever practice impulse control, you will never get a dog that you can recall from a running rabbit while he's already in mid-chase. And on the other hand, if you only ever practice to abort and interrupt the chase, you will never get a dog who is able to pull themselves together and stay when the rabbit runs off. So it is important to use a flirt pole in two different ways. The next one is about doing nose work. Nose work increases your dog's predatory behavior. What do you think? Is there truth in it? Yes or no? You can type it into the chat quickly if you want to. No, 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 but now I got you. Yeah, nose work is a great outlet for your dog. It's great, and you should always let your dog sniff on walks. This is very, very important to know. But be mindful with what skills you are teaching your dog. Searching, for example, is an orienting behavior, while tracking is something completely different. It's a chasing behavior, to follow an animal. And if you teach your dog searching or tracking, you teach them a skill. And this might backfire at you. For example, if you have a dog that is made for tracking and you teach them man trailing, that's a super need-oriented activity. You channel what they already know to do, how to do. It's nothing that you need to really teach them. But if your dog is not bred for tracking and you teach them man trailing, and they practice this from an early age, and they will learn this new skill and they will use it in other contexts too. So be really careful with the tools that you teach your dog. But there is one super game that can be done safely with any dog that will not teach your dog a skill that might backfire at you. And this is the sausage tree. You might have already heard about this. You simply take something soft like a sausage or liver, cream or cheese, and you put it or smear it into the bark of a tree and let your dog search for it. It's stationary and therefore safe, and it gives your dog an outlet for their need to sniff and search. Right, raw feeding will make the dog want to catch and kill prey. And this one is super outdated, so it's wrong. Your dog does not already know what a deer, squirrel, bird, etc. tastes like. And even if they have tasted this, it will not develop some kind of bloodthirst in your dog. Giving them raw meat from the bowl will not make them want to kill and find and catch and kill prey because of the taste. They do not make this connection. In certain gun dog breeds, the eating part of the predatory sequence has been bred out even. So they do not desire to perform this part. They are not supposed to dissect and eat the prey. And the reason is that the human hunter wants to enjoy the meat. So if you want to give your dog raw food, go ahead. Has no influence. Positive dog training does not work with predation. You can wave a whole steak in front of your dog. They will not be interested. I hear this quite a lot. What do you think? Right or wrong? Boo. Wrong and right. Nice. False. It depends on how the food is served. Partially right. Okay, we come close to it. Half right. Yeah. And I have to say, even if this sounds now a little bit polemic, there is some truth to it. And the reason for this is one sentence that is so important. Hunger does not drive predation. Let this sink in for a second, because if it was that easy that hunger would drive predation, then we could simply feed our dogs before we go on a walk and they wouldn't hunt. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. It is in wild canines. They only hunt and waste a lot of energy when they are hungry, but this is not true for our dogs. Through artificial breeding, we have put so much intrinsic motivation into certain parts of the predatory behavior that we want our dogs to perform, that they simply show this behavior just for the hell of it. So the truth is that you cannot stop a dog from showing predatory behavior by just using food. It works for some dogs with a medium or low prey drive, or for dogs that value food above everything else. But for dogs with a high predatory motivation, this will not work. You can actually and literally wave a steak in front of them, and when they are screaming and lunging and shouting at the prey animal and wanting to chase, and they will not even realize that the steak is even there. Because in this moment, they are not in the mood for food. It's like, you can compare it to, you are about to do a bungee jump or skydiving with a parachute, and you are standing on the platform, or you are about to drop out of the plane. And then your partner comes along with a chocolate muffin and asks you if you want to have a bite of the chocolate muffin. So it simply does not fit the situation. And it's the same with predatory behavior in dogs. When your dog is in hunting mode, they do not want to eat. So does this now mean that you need to use aversive methods or tools to work on your dog's predatory behavior? And well, if it was like that, we wouldn't be here today. But it means you need to become more creative. Food is a great reinforcer, but in this particular situation, it is not functional. We need to find rewards that are functional. And this means that the reward serves the same function as the original behavior that the dog wants to show. So if your dog wants to chase, and as a reward for not chasing an animal, he needs to be chasing something else, something safe instead. And if your dog wants to track down an animal, and your reward for not doing this needs to be something to track down together with you, a safe outlet. And the list goes on like this. So when you have understood that your rewards need to resemble the motivation that your dog actually has in this moment, you have that foot in that door. You have understood how to deal with predatory behavior. Never let your dog play fetch. It will make them become chasers. There is some truth in this too. I was asked this question by somebody on Instagram. I remember so a lot, because the lady said, I'm hoping so much that this is not true, but yeah. Fetch can technically make predatory behavior worse. And the reason is it makes the dog more likely to slip into predatory behavior, because fetch releases dopamine, and it replicates the part of the predatory motor pattern that is responsible for releasing the most amount of dopamine. So the fetch or the chase is the most intense part of predation. And you now imagine your dog repeating this over and over again on a regular daily basis. So your dog will have consistent high levels of dopamine, adrenaline, cortisol and other hormones, neurotransmitters, with no time to calm down in between the chases. And this can make it more likely for them to slip into predatory behavior because they are on the edge and ready to chase again. However, this does not mean now that you can never ever play fetch with your dog. You can, but you should do it considerately and sporadically. So it depends on the dog, but I would say as a rule of thumb, twice a week is a good amount, because this gives the cortisol and the adrenaline levels enough time to go down in between. And you should give your dog the chance to warm up with gentle fetches, then increase the intensity of your throw, and then cool down with slower, softer throws. And this is crucial if you have a dog that loves to fetch. You need a cool down. And I'm going to share with you the exact method how to cool down a dog and get back the toy or the ball in a conflict-free way. So when your dog has the ball or the toy still in their mouth and you want to stop the game, so first ignore the toy completely and simply scatter some treats on the ground. And then your dog eventually will release the toy to eat those treats, and you do not grab the toy instantly. You start scattering treats onto the toy, and then around the toy, and then away from the toy. And only if your dog turns away from the toy with his whole body, then you slowly take it and put it into your bag. And then you scatter some more treats. So the last one is the order of the predatory motor pattern that we talked about in the beginning is flexible for individual dogs. Is this true or false? What do you think? True, true. I have no idea. Nice. True, true, false, true, false. I don't know. Okay, good. Let's spark some light to this. Yes, it's actually not a myth. It is true. The order of the predatory motor pattern will differ between each individual dog, even amongst those of the same breed. In wild canines, wolves, dingoes, foxes, whatever, the PMT, the predatory motor pattern, is fixed. They will always execute each individual aspect of the predatory sequence in the same order every time. They wake up, they feel hungry, they go look out for prey. Oh, they see prey, they stalk, they chase, they catch, they kill, they dissect, they eat the prey. Come to an end. In dogs, we already know that hunger does not drive predation. So we don't have those basic need that drives them to go out in the first place. And due to artificial breeding and selection, we have selected parts of the predatory motor pattern for our own advantages, depending on what we need the dog to do. So most dogs do not need to orient first. They can be triggered to go into an immediate chase as soon as they see wildlife. And the bad part about it is that they can repeat this chase over and over again. Even if they know they will never catch the deer, never catch the rabbits, they still go on chasing. This would be such a completely stupid thing to do for a wolf. He would waste way too much calories. But our dogs come with special effects, so they can show parts of the predatory motor pattern. For example, collies can go straight into a stalk and creep, then they lay down and watch without chasing and grabbing. Or hounds can go straight into a track without orienting or seeing the prey first. Some of them kill, some of them do not kill. They do not dissect or eat the prey as the hunter wants to do this themselves, like the human hunters. So this means that dealing with predation is super hard for us humans because it is so random and is so unpredictable. You heard a lot now about what will not be helpful when working on your dog's predatory behavior, and I hope it would be okay for me to share you what to do instead, because there is a solution, a holistic training program that will help you to stop your dog's predatory chasing, because only focusing on stopping the chase does not provide successful long-term results, and there is much more to anti-predation training than just stopping your dog from chasing. Predation substitute training provides a holistic approach which considers all aspects of predatory behavior. This means what we need is this. We need 4 parts of predation substitute training, and they are of equal importance. We have management and prevention, we have predation substitute tools, we have predation substitute games, and we have an emergency cues. So let's have a closer look at those parts. First of all, we have management and prevention, and this is all about lowering your dog's arousal and teaching your dog to stay in contact with you. We already said that most dogs are not in the mood for food because they are too excited, too aroused outside. If you have a dog that is not able to take food outside, this is a very crucial part in your training, because here we aim at lowering arousal to a level that the dog is able to take food, so that we have a nice reward for your dog. Let's put it bluntly, a dog that has no time to eat and has no time to look back at you will never have time to follow your cues or to come back at you. So getting your dog to eat, lowering their arousal, and teaching your dog to stay in touch with you is key in force-free anti-predation training. And the effect is that it gives you a break and it brings relaxation for both of you, for both you and your dogs. The second part is predation substitute training tools. We use them when we come across wildlife, and these are not physical tools that you put on your dog. It is safe behavior that your dog can perform instead of chasing another animal. When we talk about the predatory motor pattern in the beginning of this webinar, you might have seen that there are some parts that are safe to perform. For example, sniffing or watching, and there are parts that are not safe to perform, for example, chasing or grabbing or killing. And all those parts are intrinsically reinforcing for the dog. So the dog does not have to go through the whole behavior chain. They can perform parts and still feel all those happy hormones. So instead of punishing your dog for hunting, we teach them safe parts of hunting that they can perform in the presence of wildlife as a kind of alternative behavior. And the effect again here is empowerment and agency for you and your dog, because you are not helpless anymore in a situation when you come across wildlife. And this is a situation where you feel helpless a lot when you are just hanging on the end of the leash, waiting for your dog to be finished screaming and lunging. The third part is predation substitute games. These are safe outlets for predatory behavior. And here we need to look at the individual dog, as I already explained when we talked about tracking and searching, what to teach your dog, which skills make sense, which behaviors does your dog really want to perform. What was your dog bred to do? What does he enjoy? What are his hobbies? And then we find games that match those passions and that are safe. So instead of ripping apart another animal, you can let them rip apart a paper bag with treats. And the most important part is that your dog does this behavior together with you. So you are no longer the one who spoils the fun, to interrupt and stop and nag and punish, but you are the partner that enables hunting success. So your dog will connect the happy hormones that are released during this substitution hunt with you. You become your dog's hunting partner, and this has a nice effect that this will bring the fun back into your training, and it will grow the relationship with your dog. So it will make life with your dog feel light and easy again. And then, of course, we need emergency cues to interrupt predatory chasing when it happens, and we need to interrupt it effectively, promptly, and without punishment. And here, of course, this creates a feeling of relief and of safety for you, and mainly you. So those are the 4 aspects of predation substitute training, and you can imagine them like a puzzle. And if you take away one part, the whole thing is not complete and it will not really work out. So as I said in the beginning, my team and we have put together a super comprehensive self-learning course for you, which is called Call of the Chase. And the content of this course, with this content, I have helped hundreds of human dog teams to thrive, and not just survive on a daily basis. Every day, everything that I teach in this course is backed by the latest research, and my background from teaching, of being a teacher and being trained as a teacher and having worked as a teacher for 10 years allows me to take the latest research and turn it into practical strategies that are simple and easy for every dog guardian, because I know that what we need is simple, easy, and practical. So in a nutshell, Call of the Chase is no fluff, no judgment, and just research-backed strategies that work. It's unlike any other anti-predation course that you will find out there, because here I have been combining strategies that will help you to find relief in the short term, together with teaching you and your dog new skills that you will need for more relaxed walks in the long term. So I'm not only a teacher or a dog trainer, but also a dog guardian. So I get it. You need something that works in every moment, because predation is definitely one of the biggest challenges that come with dog ownership, and it can feel super overwhelming. So what you really need here is somebody who's done that and been there, and to take you by the hand and tell you exactly what to do step by step, and who will remind you that it all will work out in the end. And this is what I'm here for, and this is why I have created this course, to provide you with research-based and solution-oriented strategies and tools. This works for you if you are a first-time dog owner and you don't know where to start, or maybe you have just rescued a dog that comes with a big amount of prey drive, or maybe you are an experienced dog owner and understand the basics already, but you want to feel more confident in what you do with your high drive dog. Or maybe you're just confused and anxious and frustrated with your dog. And yeah, so regardless of what brought you here, I'm here to give you everything you need to confidently tackle your dog's predatory motivation. You don't need any prior knowledge or experience. Let's have a quick look at what you will learn, because Call of the Chase consists of 11 modules that will guide you step by step through the 4 aspects of predation substitute training, through the tools, the games, the prevention and management measures, and also the emergency cues. The course will equip you with everything that you need to successfully stop your dog's predatory chasing without intimidation, pain, or fear. And it will even grow the bond that you have, because it will make you two partners in crime, and you will no longer be the killjoy who stops the dog from what they are so passionate about. Yeah. So module 1, the first module is all about understanding predatory behavior in your dog, observing your dog, finding out what your dog's talents are, what their hobbies are, and how we can work with this. And then module 2 and 3 are all about lowering arousal. I have already explained that this is super important, teaching your dog to stay in contact with you, teaching them calmness. Module 4, 5, and 6 are the tools that you can use when you come across wildlife, and there are tools for dogs that see other animals and want to chase them, or even if you have a dog that is completely on fire when they come across tracks of animals. Module 7 teaches correct leash handling and what to do when things go wrong, because yeah, things will go wrong. Predation is something that we can never control completely. You can never control the wild deer or rabbits. So we need a good troubleshooting and know what to do when things go wrong. And module 8 is a key chapter. It teaches you the golden rule of force-free anti-predation training that will take your training to another level, and how to use this golden rule in your training. Module 9 is a fun one. It's all about the games, the games that fit each individual dog. It will give you a variety of games for all types of dogs that love to watch wildlife, dogs that love to track, that love to search and to flash. And there are games in every module. So from 1 to 9, you have already come across a lot of games, but here in this module, we will give you an exact focus and really go into detail on some more need-oriented outlets. Module 10 is all about interrupting predatory behavior, because recall from wildlife is the most challenging behavior to train. And even though this is not a recall course, recall is something that you will eventually need. So I'm going to explain you how you can train a super strong recall that even works in the face of strongest distractions. And this course also comes with bonus modules in which we will analyze situations of dogs performing PST that either went wrong or were successful, so that you can learn from these real encounters with wildlife. There will also be bonus articles on various topics regarding predatory behavior and force-free anti-predation training in each chapter. And of course, you will have a workbook for each chapter. So all in all, it is safe to say that this is a very, very comprehensive course and the most practical course on predatory behavior on dogs that I know of. It contains all the tools and the experiences that I learned in 20 years of practicing and teaching predation substitute training with my own dogs and with my clients' dogs. So the regular price for this course is €595 or $645. But we are celebrating the launch now, so there will be a webinar deal to save you €100 or dollars. So the course will be available for the special webinar deal for you for 48 hours. So for today, for tomorrow, it will be €495 or $545. And now you have got the link that will lead you to this webinar deal in the chat. Let's have a quick look at what other people say about predation substitute training. I'd like to start with one that I got from Bo from Sweden. And this was such a nice one. I really enjoyed reading that and made me so happy, because he said, I just want to say how glad we are that we took your web class earlier this year. It has made our walk so much easier. Yesterday, our working lab saw a rabbit running away across a field. He watched and he came back for treats and a chase game. We could continue our walk unaffected. An amazing difference compared to half a year back, even though we still have bits to work on. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Or this one from Rosa, she says, easy to follow and great games, suitable for both beginners and more experienced dog owners. And this is something that I really feel strong about, because I want this to be something that you can learn with when you are a beginner and you don't know anything about dog training. Maybe you have just started your dog training journey, but also when you are already experienced or even a professional. So I want there to be something to take away for everybody. Bianca from Germany, I love this because I know her. She says, Simone manages to explain an actually complex topic in a simple and understandable way. The exercises are described very clearly and are therefore easy to do on your own. My favorite exercise, definitely backtracking. Finally, it works. And one last one that came to me anonymously, unfortunately, and I swear it's true, but I really got it, but I don't know from who. I'm saying, I can't thank you enough for this training. I know for certain that this is going to save his life, my dog's life. We went out for our morning pee and turned the corner and saw two does. They were 10 feet away and he didn't react at all. A month ago, he would have taken me down to go to them. So thank you. I recommend it to everyone I know. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. And now we have time for questions and answers. I think we made it in 1 hour. Very cool. Yeah, straight on time. Faye has already collected some of your questions during the webinar, but you're welcome to put some more into the chat and I will squeeze them in as possible, as many as possible. Okay, so let's go over to the chat. So we have, my dog immediately runs off searching for birds. How can I stop this? Well, to go into the how to stop this would, simply not be possible in this webinar, but there is solution for this in the course, of course. Is it worth taking this new course if we are planning to do the professional course? Yes, it would be a great basis for you to start with, so that you already have the knowledge that we will go deeper into for the professional course, for the instructor course. Okay, will there be a payment plan? Yes, there is a payment plan. You can do it in 2 installments if you want to. And how long will I have access to the course? You will have access to the course as long as this course exists, basically. So there is no limitation on it, but yeah, so as long as this course exists, you have access to the course. Can I guarantee that my dog will never go hunting after I have done this course? And no, of course not, because this depends on so many different factors. It depends on your dog's previous learning experience, your dog's previous or your dog's breed, and of course it depends a lot on you as the human, because when you put a lot of effort in it, then you can expect a lot. Even if you think your dog has already consolidated this kind of behavior a lot, there is something that every dog and every dog owner can achieve. But I can, of course, not give you any guarantee. There is no quick fix, no 100%. Yeah. Is it suitable for training my dog around my pets and livestock? And I have to say, no, not really, because when we do predation substitute training, we do not change your dog's perspective. Your dog will still see the other animal as prey, but we do not want your dog to see your cat as prey and not your chicken. So there will be a moment when you let your guard down. You cannot be there 100% all the time, and then something might happen or might go wrong. So this is not for pets, not for livestock. But of course, if your dog sees livestock outside, so for example, a sheep or a cattle that is not living on your property together with you, then you can use those tools as well. They were not developed explicitly for this occasion. They were developed for wildlife, but of course you can still give your dog an outlet. You can still train management behaviors to stay in contact with you, that your dog is able to watch instead of chase off straight away. So these are all things that you can do with your dog. Okay, anything else? The modules are released once a week, and we do have lifetime access to it. Does it offer CEUs? I have not. Yeah, the first 2 things are right. The modules are released once a week, and you have lifetime access for as long as the platform exists. I have not applied for CEUs yet, but I think I will do that in the future. So if you want to take part in the course, write me which organization you want the CEUs for, and then I can give them to you. Can you give an example of one of the games? Yeah, I already showed one with you, which is the sausage tree. I'm so passionate about it. I want every dog to do the sausage tree, but there are so much more games that we play. One basically for each senses, or for all the senses that your dog has. For example, listening, watching moving objects, sniffing, tracking. So yeah, there will be orienting behavior, looking out for stuff in the environment. So there will be a lot of games. The payment plan I already talked about. So there is a payment plan. So I'm surprised about the last review, only 1 month of training. It doesn't seem like a long time to get that kind of results. Yeah, that's true. And still, it depends. It depends a lot, because it depends from where you start. Positive training does not take long. If it takes you long, then you're doing something wrong. Then you should definitely get some help and have a look at what you're doing, because there is no improvement. So you should see improvement. It doesn't have to be a massive improvement. You can be surprised and the improvement is big, but you should see at least something. And if you do not see something, then something's going wrong. Seems to me that this would help with leash reactive dogs, as the behaviors follow a similar pattern. True? Not really. So this training is not made for reactivity issues, because reactivity issues are mostly fear related. So when you have a dog that is that sees another dog or sees a human and completely freaks, the underlying emotion is mostly stress and fear. Even for dogs that chase cars, there was in the past somewhere a startle moment that the dog connected with a car or with a certain human being or a kid on a scooter or something like this. And this makes the dog go into a fight response. So fight response is going forward, chasing the other part away. And here we do not have real predation, because predation is that the dog wants to get closer to this other animal, where in this response we have something to chase away, go away. And there are mixed emotions in dogs as well. So for example, herding breeds are very common to have mixed underlying emotions when they chase cars. So there is a little bit of predation in it, because they see the wheels and this triggers the response, but at the same time they feel this underlying fear. So the emotion is not really pure. And I would not do, yeah, you can do PST, but I would add in some other reactivity stuff as well. I have two Sprockers, 2-year-old brothers. I know, she writes, I know. I'm on my own. Will I be able to follow the course? Yes, of course. And I think the self-learning course will be perfect for you, because then you can do it all on your own. You don't have to do it in the time that somebody else gives you. So what is especially important with dogs, if you have 2 dogs in a multi-dog household, is that you train with each dog alone. I know this is a pain, but there is this 1, 2, 3 rule that says first train with 1 dog, and I mean here with each dog alone, then with 2 together, and then only with 3 together. And yeah, if you have 2 dogs, you will need to train separately, and then you can put it together when both of them are proficient. And I think a self-learning course that lets you do this on your own time is perfect here. My spaniel doesn't chase large birds, but loves to chase small birds. Why is this? Is it something to do with their flight pattern, quicker and sight from sight? Yeah, you never know, but I know those dogs that go for the little twitchy birds who do these little noises, and they just want to flush them. So yeah, it has to do with something in their movements, in their noises that they make that trigger your dog. My dog is 2 years old and never had success in her predatory behavior thanks to my strong management, long line environmental choices, etc. It got better with PST so that she can enjoy more and more freedom. My question is, can the not being successful influence the training results in a good way on the long term, or is it a combination of training and no success the only way to go through it? To be honest, there is we live in real life. So if you lived in a laboratory, it might be possible for you to keep your dog from any chasing ever, but you live in the real life. So what we are aiming for is good marks on your books, in your books. So imagine all the stuff that you or your dog encounters on your walks are like entries in a book, and we are aiming for more positive than negative entries. So it is not possible to keep your dog from anything and everything. It's not what we want, and it wouldn't be realistic. I am a certified bed instructor, so this is a lovely marriage. It makes sense to combine the 2 techniques. Yeah, me too. I'm patiently waiting for the professional course on the wait list. Yeah, I think this really goes very well together with the other modern techniques in dog training, such as BAT, and I love to incorporate them into my training as well. What else do we have? Does it cover increasing food drive to help lower arousal? This is something we have struggled with, and my dog does not currently take treats. Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is something we will work on heavily. We will work on heavily to getting your dog to be able to take treats. And in the beginning, you might need to force them a little bit, but yeah, there will be games and techniques that will make it gradually possible for your dog to be food motivated. Thank you. Enjoyed the presentation so much. You're very welcome. Glad you liked it. Okay, we have a little bit more time, so I'm looking into the chat again. Is it possible to start a dog after 2 years old? Also training a dog after 2 years old? Yeah, definitely. Until your dog is old and just drops dead. It is always a gift if you have those tools in place when your puppy comes, so you can start on the right foot. But even if you have experienced a lot of things in the past, this is definitely something that will make your life easier. As I said in the beginning with Malinka, she developed her prey drive. She was around 18 months old. And then I had this journey with a lot of trainers. And I think I didn't come across force-free anti-predation training until she was 4 years old. So yeah, this is definitely something that you can work on still. No, my dog has relatively low interest in working for food and no interest in toys. I drank him at a 5 for prey drive through, though. Would this course be suitable for him? Yeah, and here I guess, I don't know it, but I guess your friend's dog is a hunting dog that was made for the real stuff. So for example, the German gun dog breeds they know what is real and what is not, and don't come them with a tuck toy. They will just, no, not what I'm interested in. I was made for the real stuff. And of course, this makes it harder, but you can still work a lot with real things. So real stuff that you take from the environment. For example, all the tools that we talked about or that I presented are taking parts of the predatory motor pattern, real parts, and turn it into something that you can do with your dog in the situation without wanting them to distract with a toy or with a treat, because it will not work. This is what I mentioned when I said you can wait for whole steak. Doesn't work. So you need to find reinforcers in the environment that your dog that are really derived from hunting behavior, that are really predatory behavior, that are still safe to perform, and you have to work with them. And this makes it hard. It's not something, it's so super comfortable to just take a treat, throw it, and your dog is fine. It makes it harder and it makes you become more creative. But I think once you have opened up for this type of training, you see so many opportunities in the environment where you can use to reward your dog with. You can never unsee them. So yeah, I think it would be a really good fit for your friend. Okay, how does this course compare to your books? I always say the books are a really good starting point, and then if you really want to go deeper into this, go to the course. I will go briefly into the basics that you have in the book for those people who have not read the book, so you don't need to read the book first. We will all be covered in the course, but only in the first sections of the course, and after that we will really go into the deep stuff. Okay. Fear. He is somebody who is rehabilitating fearful Podenco, Andalus, and Canaria from Spain. Their natural hypervigilance is accelerated by their fear. I think that allowing them to engage in predatory behavior is a critical factor for restoring their trust and resilience. How can I use your program to build a bond with my fearful dog? Yeah. No, not how. It's you can do this, because this is about gaining confidence. The dogs were bred for hunting. They are confident in what they do, and if you give them a chance to perform this behavior, and it's not just with Podencos but with any fearful dog, they will become more confident, more self-confident, more assured that they can actually be successful, that they it can build on their self-esteem. Can you work with your dog and do the PST games when they already have a very strong eye contact cue? And I guess here you mentioned that whenever they see something, they immediately turn around and look at you. Yeah, you can still do that because this is a different game. Your dog will not get it in the beginning, but I will teach you a method or a help for your dog, how your dog can learn that looking actually and indulging in looking at the prey animal standing next to you is a nice thing. So it will take a little time in the beginning to teach them, but eventually they will learn, oh, this is a new game. And interesting, my dogs completely know the difference. So when we come across wildlife, when we come across livestock, they stand and watch it. And when we come across another dog or a walker or a jogger or something like this, they play this game of engage, disengage with me, because dogs learn so much in context that they can totally unlearn this in this particular situation and learn a new game. No problem at all. Is there any guidance from you during the online course, or is it strictly learn on our own? It is strictly learn on your own. So yeah, I tried to explain everything in a way that you can understand it, and there is always some troubleshooting as well. So I have made videos of clients that where it went wrong, so that you can learn from it in a hopefully non-judgmental way. And I also have a big troubleshooting section in the end. And after the course, you're always welcome to join a Facebook group, but I do not offer guidance throughout the course. But if you struggle and you really can't go on with the course because you don't get what is said here or there, then you always have the opportunity to get a one-to-one lesson with my trainers, because I have now a lot of, it's a growing number of certified instructors on my website, and you are very, very welcome to contact them, and they will be super helpful, I know. Does the modules have to be followed in order, or can you be doing several at the same time? And it will be released one after another each week, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it all in 1 week. It would be much too much. And yes, you should do it all eventually, because you put it all together. So it's not that you train something in week 1 and then forget about it and do something in week 2, but you should be continue to grow your toolbox. The modules are not in a distinct order, but of course, sometimes I relate to something that we have talked in before or something like this. So I would advise to do them in a correct order, in the order that they come up. But it's totally up to you. So you can also switch forward a little bit if you're especially interested in something or revisit something. So you can rather see the modules as a toolbox that you put more tools in it every week or every month, or whenever you want to proceed with your learning. Will having your dog stay when you throw the ball be helpful? This training question, yeah, it is 2 different things that you train, a little bit like with the flirt pole. Do you want to train impulse control? Then you let your dog sit, wait, throw the ball. Do you want to call your dog back from a ball? Then it makes sense to let them just do whatever they want and then try to get them back from the chase. Would you recommend never letting your dog chase? Our backyard has critters, so when I let the dog out to pee, they chase whatever is out there. Yeah, that might be counterproductive. Okay, some dogs really make the connection and say, okay, I can chase here, but I cannot chase anywhere else. But many dogs don't get this connection. So it might be better to prevent this by taking your dog out on a leash, or go out first and chase away all the critters and then let your dog out, because this might make your training harder. Okay, so if you're still unsure if this is the right course for you, let me just recap what you can take away from this. It can help you to build a bond with your dog that is better. It can help you to more relaxed walks when you are out with your dog. It can help you to stop predatory chasing and all the risks that come with it. For example, your dog being hurt, shot, hit by a car. It can prevent yourself being hurt, dragged around, or knocked over. It can help you to better understand your dog and overcome emotions of frustrations, embarrassment, fear. And as you see, this course comes with 11 modules that provide you with all the tools that you need to successfully train with your dog and fulfill your dog's individual and breed-specific needs. It covers the 4 aspects of predation substitute training: management, tools to use in a wild environment when you encounter wildlife, predation substitute games that give your dog an outlet, and emergency cues to immediately and safely interrupt predatory chasing if it happens, and it will happen from time to time, but without punishment, pain, or intimidation. And imagine yourself, this time next year, your walks can be so much more relaxed. Your bond could be so much stronger because now you and your dog are hunting partners and you understand each other and work like a team. So the special webinar deal, $100 euro or US dollar off if you book within 48 hours. And now I think I will answer 2 more questions before we wrap it up. Is something like barn hunt considered as a safe outlet? This is an ethical question, I think. It is an outlet for your dog, but I would consider the other animal as well. That might not feel so nice about this. I have never seen this actually, and I would be interested in seeing this in reality. But from a technical point of view, yeah, it's a good outlet. If a dog attacks the window because Bunny is outside, is it good to interrupt with scatter treat? Yes, definitely good idea. If the dog is still responsive to your cues and for the scatter treat. If your dog cannot respond anymore because they are so focused on the bunny, I would lead the dog out of the situation. I would not let them wind up in the situation, and then I would get a window foil if this happens often, so that the bunnies come into your yard regularly, and yes, and block the view. This is the easier thing to do. Can this protocol be applied as a preventive for the pup that has not shown any predatory behavior yet? Yes, it can. Maybe your dog will never show predatory behavior, and yeah, basically it's you prevent something that is not going to happen. But on the other hand, there is so much more that grows this relationship, and all our dogs have hunting and predation as a hobby. They are all interested in some kind of predatory behavior. So definitely this will give your dog an outlet, even if he's not super hunty. And it will give you more tools to cooperate and to work with your dog in a way that will increase your bond. So this can definitely be done as a prevention. Okay, so you will get a recording. Yes, you can rewatch it, or you can forward it to your friends if you want to. And then I would like to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for your attention. I really, really hope that this Mythbuster webinar was helpful for you to find better solutions to control your dog's prey drive. Thank you so much for being here, for your attention, for your time. I value this and appreciate this very, very much. And I wish you all happy training, all the best for you and your dog, and maybe we see each other online. I would love to stay in touch. So yeah, please follow me for more, and happy training. Bye.